Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And so it is. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far. It's a beautiful sunny day here. My long guys were here, and then the police were here talking to my next door neighbors about their stolen bumper. It's been a very eventful morning. So I have my union read here for the 4D, 5D, 6D, and the twin flame read as usual. And I'm going to roll the die too. So let me show you the pictures first. Here is the union read. For those of you not familiar, this is the SIRIAN Starseed deck. We have the 4D, the 5D, and the 6D. The left is the feminine, the right's the masculine, the bridge between them is the middle. The incoming divine feminine, the outgoing divine masculine, the underlying energy up here, and the closing energy over here, which is the Four of Wands, the union energy. And then we have the twin flame read. And this is a variation of the Celtic cross. It's not actually the Celtic cross. I do it more in an energy flow as opposed to the cross. So this is my read. And then we have, this is the main read, the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And then here's the 7 deck clarification of that read, which is in front of you now. So again, for those of you not familiar, the 7 decks that are used in this read is the SIRIAN Starseed for the main deck, the Romance Angels, the numerology deck, the Rider-Waite Mini, the Gilded Tarot, the Universal Golden Tarot, and the Tarot of Sexual Magic. So those are the 7 decks. And I pull Oracle cards at the end. So let's go ahead and roll the die first, see what comes up for today. Okay, we have the number 8. You can see that very well. Yep. The number 8, we have the South Node here. And the South Node, I guess the North Node's still in Gemini, so the South Node would be Sagittarius. And then we have Aries here. And we are currently in Gemini season. So let's see, we have the South Node in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, Aries, and the number 8, which of course is inner and outer strength, the dance between the masculine and feminine. And let's see how that applies to the energy today. And the Ram energy would definitely reflect the police being here this morning. And the South Node, right, releasing things that are no longer important in your life. And there could be some releasing a Sagittarius in your life right now, or a Sagittarius feeling left behind as well. But it's the South Node. So let's go ahead with the reads and we'll see what comes up with all of that. Today is the 1st of June, so welcome to June, everyone. And we're definitely going through some portal energies, receiving some downloads and upgrades. I've noticed that we've always received upgrades to our abilities about every quarter, but most significant in the spring. And then actually this June quarter as well. I don't notice as much at the September quarter. It's more of an endings period there. I don't necessarily feel the upgrades as much there, but I really feel them the other 3 quarters, December too. But the spring is definitely the most powerful for me, and this one coming up June to July. And then we go through, for me, it's like a graduation period every year between around July 23rd through Lionsgate, 8/8. It's like a graduation period, and then from 8/8 to 9/9 is like the decrescendo of the year. It's like, wrapping things up and then starting the year over again. So, let's see here. I remembered another dream yesterday morning too, which I don't remember my dreams often, so it's very interesting. The dreams are getting more lucid for me, for sure. Today's the 1st of June, but yesterday was May 31st, and that energy was the 31 of the 5 of Wands and the 41 of the Ace of Cups. So expansion of love, self-love, spiritual love, new love. And now today is June. So now we have where are we with June? June today, well, obviously today is the 1st. The 1 is the Magician, and the day adds up to the 12, which is the Hanging Man. So we have very masculine energy there. Being able to manifest, having all your tools on board, and being able to see new perspectives and awaken yourself at the same time. So it's very powerful energy today. Because the Hangman's really about wisdom, and the Magician is about manifestation. So, think of all the things you can do when you've achieved wisdom and all of your tools as the Magician embodiment. So first we have the Union read here at 3:18 yesterday. 3 is the Empress and 18 is the Moon. So very feminine energies there. For today, June 1st, 2021. We had the 10 of Pentacles in the underlying energy, the King of Cups in the center of the read, and the 4 of Wands at the end of the read. I'm definitely feeling some anxiety coming up here for people. We have the dream family here with the 10 of Pentacles of unconditional love in union and home, the secret garden for her, and the castle and drawbridge for him, the abundant family, business, community, world, or legacy of the King of Cups in union, families merging here, coming together. So different perspectives, like two sides of the same coin, who have the same goals, coming together from different places, but having the same vision. The incoming divine feminine is the 3 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and the Hanging Man. 2 of 3 of 10 of I, the Hanging Man with a right knee block, the divine masculine anger management, hanging from a chain in crystalline bubble or chamber. The family reunion, 3 of 10, 3 cups, 3 crystals, and remember that came up yesterday with the 369 energy. And I talked about that with the 3 ribbons and the 3 crystals outside. And then the 3 of Wands also came up here. So we have the 3 of Cups, 3 of Crystals, and 3 of Wands. That's the 369, the 1, 2, 3 of the 3D, 4, 5, 6 of the 4D, and 7, 8, 9 of the 5D. And I am that I am, Excalibur, only one truth, so only one sword here. The social gathering and the joy it creates draws out one in the basement or the dungeon, the 10 dark steps to hang out in the light, 2 days of rain and 3rd day of bright sun, exposing a right knee block and restoring itself on its own. And then a songbird started singing outside. It was 328, which is the Empress and the 28 of the twins, or the choice of path. And the songbird there. We have the 4D here of the 4 of Cups, 5 of Wands, and Knight of Swords, where the divine feminine is stranded in emotional waters with only one around them, but in a worse condition and unable to then rescue them because they're in a worse condition than them. Looking upward instead, spotting on the star, focusing on the light instead of the dark. And the sun faded as I wrote that. The divine masculine Knight of Swords passing the 5D message and she receiving it from the stars. Time in a bubble instead of time in a bottle. It was coming up as time in a bubble, an orb, where she sees from way down below. He on land, on a rock under the tree, she on a rock in the sea. At 3:33 here then, which I didn't notice before, as I just talked about 333, the time became 333. Back to back, the masculine and the feminine mirroring each other with the Five of Wands between them. The bridge of drama, expansion, and the pursuit of happiness. At 334, then exchanging into the 34, which is the energetic exchange, the arrows of love, a lot of communication and travel back and forth. And I get zip lining with that too. He is the transmitter. She is the receiver. AC/DC. Here, expanding, but not contracting. The 5D here is the Eight of Swords, King of Cups, and Two of Wands. The divine feminine hiding in the woods by the creek, feeling her way through as opposed to seeing her way through, calming the water by just closing her eyes and breathing and focusing on the light. The divine masculine seeing himself as a twin flame, the twin flames in the etheric realms in the 5D, remote viewing and bridging the two by coming out of the etheric and the woods, meeting in the middle in unconditional love. The 6D here is the Page of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. The divine feminine being curious about their abilities, or who perhaps has a child who is, a student of heaven on earth. The divine masculine building crystalline towers, one step at a time, crystal work versus light work. And here's that parallel to light and love. Bridging on the stairway to heaven, ascending steps 2 by 2, and that references the 72 and 144,000, in circular motion, gaining momentum, synchronicities getting closer and closer together in order to match or sync up completely from both sides. It's like the two sides of the coins meeting in the middle. The divine feminine grounding, integrating fears of drowning. So there may be literally a wound of drowning in the deep ocean water, which many of us have in past lives. And if you don't believe in past lives, you still have that energy in your DNA from your relatives, because we go back at least 14 generations. So the divine feminine grounding and integrating fears, literal fears of drowning. And I actually had seen a past life of my son and I jumping into an ocean to escape a ship together. So I know I drowned, and I always couldn't stand anything around my neck. I know had my head cut off before or been hung, and definitely had drowned before. So there's definitely a wound about that. It's not just drowning, but water is emotions. So it's that fear of drowning in your emotions, but also at the same time, the fear of that wound of actually literally drowning in deep ocean water. So grounding, integrating the fears of drowning by looking up or in. The divine masculine messenger of truth, or the twin flames working with crystals to get to her door. The bridge between them is the drama, unable to affect the King of Cups, the unconditional love, fueling the spiral stairway to heaven, and the synchronicities, the heaven in their eyes. The outgoing divine masculine here is the Seven of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Shadow. I was just getting connection. Passing downloads, up and down. It's like the masculine was receiving downloads and then passing messages to the divine feminine directly. Present to his third flame, open and willing to see the shadow grid, the 4D drawbridge that we must pass through on the way to the 5D hub, where then you have access to all other dimensions. So here again, referencing the 4D bridge as the drawbridge. So on the divine feminine side, there was actually divine feminine and masculine both had Capricorn on their side. The divine feminine had the Page of Pentacles, curious about their abilities, and the divine masculine had the Knight of Swords, passing the messages. Between them was only the King of Cups, which is also unconditional love. And the King of Cups in the center was between the Five of Wands on the bottom and the Seven of Cups on the top, which references the number 6. So the King of Cups was coming up all about love. So the number that came up in the number grid for this read was 71, which is the Three of Pentacles. For me, that's the card of co-creation. It can be the workplace, but it's really the coming together to create, whether that's by yourself or with others. We have on the horizontal pillars, we had 29, 10, and 32, which is the Three of Wands, the Wheel, and the Six of Wands. And then the vertical pillars came up to 13, 10, 12, 12, 10, 7, 3, 4, which 7, 3 and 4 plus 3 plus 4 equals 7. Then the 71. So present to destiny of the journey to co-create, to come together to co-create. And then the transition of the two hanging mans, or the two different perspectives, the two different sides of the coin coming together on two wheels, not because you're on a two-wheeler bicycle, but because you're on the chariot, the two wheels in the back, the chariot along with the Empress and the Emperor, driving together or ascending together to the workplace to co-create together. So it was a very beautiful message there. All right, so then we have the read in front of you, which is the twin flame read. And I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck at 5 o'clock on the nose. And I was just getting now the 9 to 5 work day. And I was getting the movie with Dolly Parton, 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, right? So you might want to look up the words of the song. And if you haven't seen 9 to 5, you have to watch the movie. It was a really funny movie. So we have 5 with the expansion, the 5 of freedom and change, and then double zeros behind it, like source energy, a lot of it backing up that change. And then a 507, which is the Hierophant and the 7 of the chariot, R of crystals. So that R can represent hour or R of crystals. So something is made of crystal, or the hour of crystals, but also crystals represents being Christ-like, or the cry stalls, the need to purge. And then stalls came up as well. So there's definitely maybe delays here. This is like the hour of crystallization, you know, our bodies becoming completely crystalline. And there may be a delay here in order for that to happen. And again, we always hear about the need to upload our new DNA by us sleeping in long periods of time so they can actually access us for long periods of time. So it's important to get plenty of rest. And I just had 2 really long nights of sleep after I got back from my break, which was very helpful there. But just reminding you to make sure you get enough rest so your downloads can come in. And also to make sure to spend a few minutes every day, in meditation, treating your body right, showing gratitude not only for your life every day, but showing gratitude and thanks and love to your food and water, so that everything that goes into you is of that very high vibration, and that you're actually merging with your food and drink before you actually ingest those. And then we have the final read at 5:19, which is the Hierophant and the 19 of the Sun. And the Hierophant's all about commitment and societal norms, tradition, the powers that be, right? All about religion as well. And sometimes the Hierophant can represent God, the traditional view of God in our society here. So we have the major arcana of the shadow, which is the devil, and the great wheel, which is the wheel of fortune. And before the read, justice and karma came up. Karma is the judgment card in this deck. And after the read, the hanging man came up. So the hanging man's big today. So we've already heard it like 3 times. We had 4 swords, 1 cup, 1 wand, and 2 wands and 2 pentacles. So mostly swords today. So whether we're really in our head and a little bit of anxiety is coming up in our solar plexus because we're feeling the energies of others, or our own anxieties and fears about certain things, allowing it to come up, loving it, allowing yourself to go through the discomfort, not trying to push it away, but receive it, allow it. And also that can be intellectualizing with the swords energy. A lot of speaking, a lot of writing, all of those kind of energies can come up under the swords. Being very logical and in your integrity, or the opposite if you're not in your integrity, but it's all under the swords energy. We had the Knight of Cups, the King of Swords, Knight of Swords, Queen of Wands, and King of Pentacles here. A lot of people in the read. Before the read, the Page of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles, which can be the sovereign energy, can be a person as well. And then after the read, the Queen of Pentacles came up. So a lot of people here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 characters here. All right, we have 2 knights, 2 kings, 2 queens, and a page, and the sovereign. So a little bit of everything. Excuse me. So here the code line was all about self-love, effort, and new beginnings, and they were all split up into self-love, EF, fort, and then newbie and Jennings for new beginnings. We had double sevens and double tens in the read. Double seven is the sovereign, and then double tens is keeping that energy really high. But more significant than the double numbers today were the numbers 1, 3, 6, and 8. And of course, that's the Magician, the Empress, the Lovers, and the Strength card, the Dance. We also had 13 of the Transition or Death card, 36 of the Ten of Wands, 710, which is 0 behind 71, again, the co-creation card, the Three of Pentacles, 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, 78 of the Ten of Pentacles, and then 89 for me is the Phi energy, the reflection of the human body temperature, the expanding outside yourself and knowing that you need to come back and balance yourself again, but allowing yourself to expand. So the code line was all about the number 3. So we have the 333, and 3 came up a lot today. So we're very focused on the number 3, as well as the Sovereign 77 was coming up as significant. And the Magician and the Empress, the Lovers, and the Strength between their dance with the 8. So regarding self-love, effort, and new beginnings, and the number 3, which is all about joy, coming together, abundance, the Empress, Gaia, things that come naturally, or should, but we've been taught otherwise by our templating growing up. The first words in this code line spell sense. So your sense is very important here. And the bridge of your senses coming up as sense and also sensei, which is a master or teacher. So your senses are sight, smell, hearing, touch, and taste. It also can mean judgment, meaning, reason, value, and appreciation. Sense also is defined as one of two opposite directions in which a vector, especially of motion, may point and see polarity. So it has to do again with the polarities merging to the middle, like clockwise versus counterclockwise. To be aware of one, which then makes you aware of the other. To comprehend, teacher, and without all come up under sense. So to sense the bridge, the ownership or the owner of ship, the sensei, the God, instead of Christmas, the Godmas, the 3 to the nth degree of Gaia, Empress, and abundance. The Knight of Cups offering love, being love, and yielding to the great wheel, the destiny of alternating currents and air conditioning, right? So we're in a lot of air energy today, conditioning the air sign, reestablishing new patterns, more positive patterns of self-love, of the F as in fortitude. And F for me is the expansion and contraction energy of the Phi. Again, just like the 89 is like the F or the Phi. So self-love, F is in fortitude, and permanent post, a newbie enticement. The cotton gin or sawmill may be coming up here, perhaps making carpets here or creating anything at all. But I was definitely getting with self-love, and the F is in fortitude was coming up, Muhammad Ali again, with float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. To have that fortitude of that permanence in self-love. The newbie enticement of the cotton gin and the sawmill, perhaps making carpets here, perhaps a magic carpet here. And then consensual non-consent came up, because C and C is the acronyms that came up in the beginning of the code line were SE, N, and then SE again, which is C and C. So the code CNC comes up as consensual non-consent, which is a mutual agreement between partners to be able to act as if sexual consent has been waived. And again, that parallels to the energy between the twins, since they don't have control over the other, and yet they share the same etheric body, so they feel all their sexual energy. And this term, consensual non-consent, actually comes up under bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism, acts of domination and submission. Okay? So you have to allow and surrender, but you also have to stand up for yourself at the same time. So again, it's the merging of all of these polarities, not being completely submissive and not being completely dominating, but actually allowing and yet creating boundaries and standing up for yourself to not allow others to dominate you as well. So the bridge here was coming up with traffic, with minivan taxis without a license. There's a lot of chaos on this bridge, or a whole mess of eggs. But just, it's just was bringing the energy of a big mess on the bridge, like a big accident happened, or a lot of traffic going on, or a jam. Taking the high road in energetic exchange to the nth degree, 3 to the nth degree, with an offer of love, the Knight of Cups in union, destined high vibration in alternating currents of self-love and newbie, right? Self-love and love for a new one, new love. The F of expansion and contraction, and the forts like the basement floor, right? The basement floor expands and contracts when it's new. So you leave it a little space so it can do that, so it can settle in and be really strong. So it's the energy of the fort like a basement floor, or ginning allurement. And ginning has to do with separating the seeds from the cotton. And then there's all this energy about the sawmill too, about sawdust, and what else came up with that? So sawdust, sawmill, all the things having to do with a saw also came up, which can reference your eyes and seeing something that you saw, but also the saw of cutting, and the cotton gin of separating, which has to do with the wounding. When we talk about stones in the first density of our creation, separating the wheat from the chaff is actually, tearing someone apart, separating them from themselves. So that parallel to the human and the twins being pulled apart because they're actually one, and having been pulled apart for so long and now returning to each other, there's a lot of trust that needs to be gained here after such a long time of not being together and having been betrayed by each other. So we also have the sensei teacher of I own, or in other words, not about the service to self, but I own in that I am that I am. I am the master Re, the shaman, but also Re can be the energy of being frenzied and overexcited, wild and fierce, right? Like a wild animal. To the nth degree, being the Knight of Cups in a frenzy of love, with Sagittarius and Libra and spirits connecting with me, alternating currents, and also before meal frenzy, right? When you're really hungry, you get into a frenzy. The self-love and effort and newbie beginnings, or ginnings, the separating of the seed from the cotton, the wheat from the chaff. So right at 6 o'clock, and this read was cut and dealt at right at 5 o'clock, and now I'm starting to actually interpret the read right at 6 o'clock. So now we have double zeros, or source embodiment, backing up the number 6 of the lovers, of love, family, and community. And we start with the 8 of Swords here. So we have the 8 of Swords here, with the mini cards on top, and I usually go 5 cards down and 5 cards at the end, because that actually equals 21 cards, which is the world and completion. So at 6 o'clock, all about the lovers, and the 8 of Swords upright, the prison of the lovers, of being one, and yet being two separate avatars. And then that goes for everyone as well, everyone being one, and yet being in millions of different avatars. So beneath the 8 of Swords, from the bottom up, was the Page of Pentacles upright and the 9 of Pentacles upright, which can be two siblings, the Justice card upright, the 7 of Cups upright, and the Karma card reversed, which is Judgment. So we have the Page of Pentacles and the Sovereign. So the Page of Pentacles is sovereign, or the Page of Pentacles and their sovereign older sibling. And this also can be a message, the Page of Pentacles, some kind of opportunity or invitation of sovereignty, or from a sovereign feminine energy, being fair with choices or seeing synchronicities, and this can be siblings being fair with each other, being more loving, fair with choices and seeing synchronicities, deliberating prison, fears, anxieties, or the need to swallow their pride or suffer in prison, the High Priestess reversed, secret passion, and satisfied or secretly satisfied, or not using their intuition and being arrogant about it. And again, this is the energy of needing to swallow their pride. The Queen of Swords, the Page of Swords stepping up to the plate. Here's a message being served to journey on to one who's suffering in silence, or perhaps to a sister and unable to work it out, or overworking is not helping here. At 6:06, then we have two lovers, or the 60 and the lovers, which is peace, finding peace, a peaceful place to go. The Queen of Pentacles upright, seeing synchronicities and surrendering to rise and awaken, to the Knight of Pentacles, who's the loyal, humble servant, with their back turned to their secret passion, the sealed divine feminine, and the Hierophant of the divine marriage and the rejection, or the Page of Cups reversed, who's vulnerable and shy, to awaken, or surrounded by Capricorn reversed and Taurus upright and imprisoned. So this is coming up like a child being imprisoned by this Capricorn reversed and Taurus upright. Libra upright, Aquarius reversed, Pisces both upright and reversed, and Taurus upright, Capricorn reversed, all here. The rule maker abusing a child, or sealed in a vacuum tube, or religious leaders' stance on test tube babies here. Servants of the old boys club bowing down outside themselves to someone outside themselves in a race to be the leader, the man, with a left foot that's bigger than the other. The Page of Cups reversed, awakened, or doesn't agree with their parents' beliefs, or a child who is psychic, no longer covering themselves head to toe on the beach, while the leader wears bare feet all the time. Like, why do I have to cover up everything? Or an intervention on a child here by an egomaniac and or the church, or protecting, or like this could be parents also protecting their child from going to prison, or their own fears, their anxieties, their own imprisonment. And that was at 6:18, which is the lovers and the moon. And you notice we're going through all these sixes, and I don't usually do my reads around 6 p.m., so I'm getting a lot of sixes today as we're in June today. So we're starting out the month of June, which is all about love and marriage, right? And spooning. So the Hermit's reversed, and this is someone who's been over isolating, right? It's one thing to go into isolation to achieve some kind of wisdom, to balance your energies again. But then once you're over isolating, unless you now come out, which now this can be, the Hermit now coming out after over isolating, or after having been alone enough time, it's time to come out and connect with other people again. But now coming out, the Knight of Pentacles upright, the loyal, humble servant, and the Knight of Swords upright, which is the messenger of truth, two ships passing in the night, one offering labor and one offering truth. One likes to create and one likes to speak or write, or came to meet. It's like two ships passing in the night. They came to meet as the other was leaving. And I definitely feel like I experienced this right the day that I left for my trip. In a happy ending or emotional fulfillment, one moving on and one going back to give a piece of their mind, or turning self in so that family can be happy, or saying screw you to the family, or to end an emotional cycle and then moving on. Not sure where to go, or bailing someone out to make the family happy, or the Hermit's coming out with help to make an arrest. And that's so weird. I wrote this yesterday and the police were here this morning. It is safe to love, and then beneath it is safe to love was chemistry, which was at 6:25, which is the lovers, and the Knight of Wands, which is a very sexual, passionate energy. So done inspecting every inch and putting it all out there to touch, as a plane flew overhead right there, the Hermit coming out about missing their flame, the Angel with attitude, and the Emperor reversed, stunned into submission. Her feet pink and their legs turning gray, beneath the Emperor's uniform, feeling sick to their stomach, all covered up with shoes on, even in the bathroom. So this could be someone who was raised that way, that they always have to have something on their feet, whether they're in the bathroom, maybe someone made them really paranoid about getting warts and things like that. But someone who's always covering themselves up head to toe, even on the beach, like wearing, cover up on their legs and their feet, all that kind of stuff. Or this can be like, to live in my partner's house, I have to follow their rules, and they're obsessed about making sure I have shoes on everywhere I go. And this could be doing this to the kids, making sure they're covered up and being overprotective with your children. So again, this is coming up as her pink feet as the feminine partner and their legs turning gray as the emperor, beneath the emperor's uniform, feeling sick to their stomach, all covered up with shoes on, even in the bathroom. Patient or Sagittarius with attitude, and two men out of sorts, or two sides of one person himself, the man losing power and the hermit losing their privacy due to peach chiffon, or red, who's a drinker, flirt, or the trophy wife no more at 632, which is the lovers and the journey of the Six of Wands. He without power and she no longer with all the attention, and then forgiveness comes up with 96, and the happy ending beneath that 93, which is the reflection of the Knight of Cups, being love. When you're love, you are always going to have a happy ending. So uncomfortable, struggling to get out, to clean up the act and or come out under the radar, or about neediness for attention in a divorce or justice or detoxing of chaos, verbal abuse or lying incessantly, detoxing chaos by holding back announcements and or truth at 636, which is the lovers, and the Atlas energy of the 10 of Wands, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Then at 637, we go into the King of Cups of unconditional love, the throwing star on the basement steps. And that's come up lots of times where someone may have tripped because of people leaving things on the steps, whether it's a throwing star or your shoes, whatever it is. And this is always coming up around the basement steps. So someone who's got those open stairs without anything between the steps. The throwing star on the basement steps, tripped, fell, or started a fire by accident. Texas Rangers or Texas Cowboys could be coming up here. And the justice system, or Capricorn upright and reversed, Libra upright, or making a narrow escape from a fire. And again, endless love was coming up there too, where in the movie the boyfriend set a fire because he wanted to save her, but then it ended up getting out of control and they actually burned the house down. So there's kind of that kind of energy coming up. Not that anyone's house is getting burned down, but just the energy of trying to get someone's attention, I guess. That's what's coming up now. The Knight of Swords reversed, in jail, or lying and stuck in their head, or lashing out and feeling badly afterwards, not telling the truth about anxiety and or the awakening to emotional fulfillment, or ending with family. The Emperor reversed, out of control or losing control and needing forgiveness. Capricorn reversed and Aries reversed here, after a happy ending, emotionally unavailable without peace, or in debt or some kind of inequity, or a man who likes to cause imbalances. That's someone who loves to poke at people to trigger them so that they can prove them wrong. And I definitely have known people like that before, where they ask you to choose between two things so that they can tell you why you're wrong and why the other one's better. It's like being the devil's advocate, but it's stealing your energy. Someone who likes to trigger people so that they can take their energy. A man who likes to cause imbalance so that they can rebalance and show that they're the man, right? They're the one who's most powerful or smartest or best, whatever it is. And again, that's an insecurity issue. Defenseless to the Magician upright, holding on, being Scroogey to avoid sudden painful ending or after a painful ending, and recovering from exile or financial issues of the King of Wands upright, or going to the King of Wands upright for help, which can be a fire sign or just someone who's got a lot of fire in their chart. So again, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. In the recent past is the Knight of Swords upright, sending 5D messages to find peace with divorce or justice with delays in kids going back and forth, or arguing or not expressing true desires about receiving love from the Knight of Cups, who then walked away to deal with a death situation with the King of Wands, or clinginess between them, or Scorpio reverse between them. Or the King of Wands with Scorpio in his chart is between the Knight of Cups upright and the Queen of Cups reverse. So that could be someone getting in the way of the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups coming together. But there's also a Page of Cups reversed involved here. So the Knight of Cups upright trying to get to the Queen of Cups and Page of Cups reversed, but the King of Wands in the way. There also could be a child star, or the Queen of Cups reversed and the Page of Cups reversed have their own dreams in healing, and they're trying to stay away from the Knight of Cups, who insists on their dreams. Or the Queen of Cups reversed just had a baby, and the King of Wands won't let the Knight of Cups see her, and of course that can be due to infectious reasons as well, after offering their love elsewhere. So this also can be the King of Wands won't let the Knight of Cups see the Queen and the Page after offering their love elsewhere to somebody else, or giving their time and attention too much to someone else and not allowing them to see. And that can be a father of the Queen of Cups too, saying, no, you're not going to see my daughter anymore. You're not treating her right. So the Page of Swords is upright here, spreading the word, stepping up to the plate, about being present to an offer of love to the Queen of Cups sovereign, or the Queen of Cups with an independent child. Libra is upright, Scorpio reversed here, and Aquarius upright, and lots of water energy there with all the cups there. The foundation here is the King of Swords upright, on a quest and feeling badly about the Queen of Swords upright, speaking her truth about work and co-creating or coming together, or talking about him at work to others. And again, that can reflect now having done to you what you had done to others. The central energy here is the Shadow upright, which also can be a Capricorn, frustrated, avoiding disaster or sudden event aftermath, perhaps avoiding cleanup. Awake to the Six of Cups upright, the sibling connection or the soulmate or twin connection or children's loving connection, working hard to be that higher love, the patient angel. Scorpio and Capricorn reversed and Sagittarius upright here, feeling vulnerable and insecure next to the Star, and challenged by the Knight of Cups, who's being loving to all, dealing with the shadow at the workplace. The challenge being the Knight of Cups being overworked after the war, finding an agreement or coming to terms one-on-one in the downturn. The Page of Wands upright inspired by sovereign or by their own sovereignty, and third party telling the truth and rising above. And that can be overindulgences as well, like people who are bad influences, and rising above those influences, or getting the others to wake up. After a jealous rage, the Page of Wands is inspired by romance and the pursuit of happiness, but not telling their true desires, and perhaps feeling weak at 7:12, which is the Chariot and the Hangman, needing to see a new perspective and be wise. Then at 7:14, the 7 of the Chariot, the 14 of the Temperance card, that higher love, working too hard and burdened by reaping rewards, or perhaps feeling guilty for not working hard because that's the way you were raised. In separation, exposing all to the ex, in conflict with prison of starting over again. Now, in the present moment, crowning is the Ace of Swords upright, the whole truth to be told, defenseless to energies post-war, with PTSD and looting, suffering in silence, and sisters dealing with ending a nightmare. The Knight of Pentacles looking forward, but then going back to break up, to purge, or just to be overwhelmed by the Knight of Swords reversed, who may be holding their tongue or lying or withholding information, but with clarity at the present moment now. There's no surprise here about fantasizing and seeing synchronicities, playing hardball with the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands reversed, who could be children, breaking patterns with your children, caught with their pants down in the weeds in a twist of fate, no more sex on the swing or needing to be unstable in order to reap rewards of a good home life, feeling unworthy or not feeling worth enough, with temptation waving and knocking him for a loop, rendering them weak in deception of the Emperor reversed, recovering from a breakup or lack of affection. a man with two women, or Libra reversed and Capricorn upright, dropping one or both of them in a move or ending of marriage that was narcissistic with or Taurus energy, or visiting Gemini reversed and Taurus upright, Leo, Cancer, and Aries all reversed. And soon for the twins is the Queen of Wands upright, moving or traveling between downturn and or Libra reversed, and no options but to hold on or save and be practical, with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, dysfunction or loss, and the King of Pentacles reversed, starting over, with the Empress and Magician both upright, but not sharing, and needing to swallow their pride. The day the music died. Poor judgment, or deliberating too long, feeling badly about clowning around, or being considered the clown of the dysfunctional family. Cancer, Taurus, Virgo, and Gemini all upright here, Aquarius reversed, the twin flames seeing themselves as the Three of Pentacles upright, that co-creation card of the Three of Pentacles, running away from the sealed divine feminine at the workplace, the Queen of Pentacles imprisoned, betrayal, or back to back and uncomfortable. It could be back pain. So the Queen of Pentacles is imprisoned here, or is holding someone prisoner. And yet it's like the Queen of it's like the masculine running away from the divine feminine, and then the Queen of Pentacles is on the other side, perfectly willing to hold him captive. So he's running back to the Queen of Pentacles, who's holding him prisoner, tying his hands, but he's willingly doing so. So it's like the dominatrix with the one who surrenders to them, which came up in this read today. So there could be that energy. It's not always the masculine being the dominator. Sometimes it's the feminine being the dominator. And in this read right there, and this is these energies right here of the sealed divine feminine, and here's someone running away from them, and then here's the Queen of Pentacles, and they're running to be the prisoner of the Queen of Pentacles. And then above the prisoner is the pain of betrayal and painful endings. Also back pain, which can reflect emotional wounding, right? Sometimes you have pain just because of emotional wounds. And it's not psychosomatic, it's in your emotional body causing you pain. So that can be very real. So again, running away from the sealed divine feminine at the workplace, and then running to the Queen of Pentacles, whether she's imprisoned or she's holding him prisoner, tying his hands, and then betrayal or back pain, and being very uncomfortable in the position of the King of Cups, who's unconditionally loving man, and over the divine feminine or the Pisces or the world, coming full circle, or stealing from or cheating on Pisces, divine feminine, or the world or the neighborhood, and the Queen of Pentacles with hostage, tying their hands until they fall down in such great pain they are now unable to walk away from the King of Cups, who is looking away and protecting his world. So this is an otherwise loving man, but he may be turning away from someone who needs his help to protect his loving world. The divine feminine, he may be also protecting his world, the divine feminine, a Pisces, or his daughter. And then again, that can be that same energy of the King of Wands over there, refusing to let the Knight of Cups see the Queen of Cups reversed. And that could be a father standing in between a couple. That can be a father in between two children who are not getting along as well. Okay, so you have heart-to-heart conversations here, separation, and getting to know each other. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Six of Wands upright, leading the way, with the Hierophant in surrender and exposing all, or letting kids always get their way. And Hierophant can also be a Taurus person. It can be a marriage, a religion, an establishment. The Queen of Wands upright and the King of Swords upright are taking a fall together, or taking the fall for their kids, pets, or a Leo, or fell, literally, or fell from grace while on vacation at 737, which is the Chariot and the King of Cups. The block being here is the Wheel reversed, Worried about being scammed or taken for a ride is definitely coming up here. Like worried about what might happen instead of being present and just allowing each day to unfold, right? Because you're creating new timelines that aren't serving you and usually never happens anyway. So stop being worried. Be present in the now moment. So self-love comes up as well as effort and new beginnings. As the Queen of Cups is reversed and the Knight of Wands is reversed together, one not being nurturing and the other not being the rescuer that they normally are. The King of Pentacles reversed, Taurus, or with a narcissistic Taurus, in separation exposing all, or on vacation, or ex with kids, and imprisoned starting over again. Moving, visiting, ending a marriage, or canceling a party or event, and healing and forgiving. The Emperor reversed, out of control, right? They could either be stepping down because they no longer have their faculties anymore, or they could literally be out of control, abusing their power. Recovering from a breakup or loss of love. Aries reversed, Taurus upright, Gemini reversed, Leo upright, Sag and Capricorn both reversed here. The King of Pentacles reversed is not happy or not hanging out with the Queen of Pentacles upright, who's defenseless or without excuse, ending pain or a painful ending in betrayal, struggling up the steps and leaving the wounded warrior behind, or burdened by back pain and having to climb steps. The King of Wands, suffering in silence, or this can be the King of Wands' sister as well, received an offer of passion and feeling guilty about the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, where the Queen of Wands is looking at their social life, not even paying attention, and also looking at travel, perhaps in a divorce, and looking forward to being happy alone, and with clarity instead, as opposed to always being unaware or not being told, having secrets kept, or having to keep secrets for the relationship. So Page of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, which can be two siblings, or an opportunity to be sovereign, with justice, divorce, or Libra taking steps, seeing synchronicities and deliberating, prison, or anxieties and fears. The King of Swords at the workplace with success and lots of attention and leading the way, with the Knight of Swords upright being the shadow or shadowing them. This could be a child following them or an intern, or a codependent relationship. Challenged by the Knight of Cups, who's offering love and being love, to the Queen of Wands in the downturn, and presenting the truth to the King of Pentacles reversed, who was hung out to dry perhaps, or awake to or by the Queen of Pentacles in a breakup without excuse for a betrayal, and coming out of the dungeon, leaving the wounded warrior behind. The hostage of the Knight of Swords upright and the Knight of Swords reversed, so the Knight of Swords is coming up two ways back to back here in the underlying energies. The hostage of the Knight of Swords upright and the Knight of Swords reversed, which can be the twins, right, because they're reflecting each other, two sides of the same coin, or literally someone who's hot and cold. And the Knight of Swords shadow, challenged by the Knight of Cups, and the truth being presented at the workplace, with the Queen of Wands upright getting attention in a twist of fate, with the King of Pentacles reversed, awake to the Queen of Pentacles upright, who's defenseless to the drama and pain of coming upstairs and leaving her wounded warrior behind. Okay, so that's at 752, which is the Chariot and the Queen of Swords. So that is the read. I'm going to pull you some oracle cards. So let's see what's coming up with the animal spirit deck. So again, we had Sagittarius as the South Node, Aries, and the number 8. So I'm getting that there's definitely a dance going on between an Aries and a Sagittarius energy that needs to be let go. An Aries is very in-your-face energy, and Sagittarius can be very codependent energy. So it's like the Aries, being like the Emperor in control, out of control, abusing their power, and then the Sagittarius being the submissive here, and the dance between these two. But the Sag needs to go. All right, so now we have the animal spirit deck. What is our takeaway from this read today? We have the peacock, and the peacock may be showy and beautiful, but in this book, they come out as the wise one, right? They're very humble and kind and loving inside. They're beautiful inside and out. You don't need to be beautiful on the inside to be loved. I mean, on the outside to be loved. You know, you don't have to be the perfect person on the outside to be love and to experience love. But someone who's very beautiful on the outside, who's ugly on the inside, you know, can cause a lot of havoc in people's lives because they have a lot of power by their outer beauty. But that's a false sense of love. And then we have the bumblebee here too, who's just, you know, may not be the prettiest guy. You know, they're carrying too much weight. Their wings aren't supposed to be able to carry them. And yet look at the love that they're radiating here. And here we have again the floating like a butterfly or floating like a peacock and stinging like a bee. You may be able to fool everybody else, but you can't fool me, is what the bee is saying to the peacock. And then we have the wolf again. The wolf keeps summarizing these reads, like they'll come up as the afterthought. And the wolf is being neutral here. They're kind of, they can just be in a neutral space, or they can be stunned into submission in a way here. Like this is a wake up, right? All of a sudden the wolf, he's not on attack. He's not being aggressive. He's just like saying, huh? Or he's just being neutral in the situation and being patient, allowing the pack to find their own way, right? So here's the wolf. It's like watching the children but not interfering with how they work things out. That's the energy I'm getting here, right? Like the parent needs to get out of the situation and allow them to work it out for themselves. And then the bottom of the deck is the hyena, which sits there and laughs at everybody, right? And the firefly is beneath them. The firefly is radiating lots of light here, right? There's lots of luminescence in the firefly. It's like Tinkerbell. And it's yet the hyena is trying to block their light. See that? By their humor. And by, you know how people just laugh? This is the one pushing other people's buttons just to get a rise out of them. Okay? So we have a hyena here pushing people's buttons. We have two trying to work it out who have very different energies. And then a neutral person or someone trying to be neutral, like a parent, trying not to interfere with the children working out their own problems. And it doesn't have to be a parent and children. It could be a boss and coworkers. But there's definitely someone here who needs to go because they're they're trying to trigger people on purpose because they get pleasure out of it. All right, so I'm going to go into my Starseed Oracle deck too again. This is my new deck. We'll see what comes up today. Take a deep breath. I'm feeling a lot of stress coming into this read. People are feeling a lot of anxiety and fear right now. They probably are feeling like just confused as to where do I go next, because you're in transition right now. So just allow it, feel into it. Send love to your solar plexus here. So what is the energy for the twins today? What is our takeaway? Oh, well, that didn't want to go back in. The heart of the pentagon. How weird is that? Joy, playfulness, and pleasure. Okay, so let's see what else is coming up here. The bottom of the deck is Dimensional Planes of Perception number 8. And I'll read these to you. That's simultaneity. I don't know how it's pronounced. Nonlinear processing and epiphanies. Okay, dimensional planes of perception. So epiphanies are big in the underlying energy here. And then the card we have is Heart of the Pentagon, joy, playfulness, and pleasure. So let's see what this says. It's number 23, which is the King of Wands. And the King of Wands was the one getting in between the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups over there. So the Heart of the Pentagon, joy, playfulness, and pleasure. The elements are earth and light. The crystals are orange calcite, Gaia stone, and aqua aura. The chakras are the sacral chakra, the heart, and the high heart. which is very powerful, those combined. The planets are Venus and Jupiter, which is very benevolent. And then the zodiac signs are Taurus and Sagittarius. So that instead of Aries, it may be a Taurus and Sag that are pulling apart. Known as the breastplate of the goddess, the pentagon is the geometrical shape that resonates the vibrations of love and the divine feminine. This design encourages a joyful simplicity and playfulness, bringing a new exuberance to one's life, amplifying vitality and the capacity to feel the higher emotions of joy and jubilation, inspiring one to maintain delighted states of being. That state of bliss. So take time to engage in joyful play, as it will nurture your inner child and bring more light and laughter into your life. So again, the hyena could represent that laughter, but perhaps people take them too seriously. So it could be one of two ways. That hyena could be pushing people's buttons because they're getting pleasure from others' expense. But it's also telling you, you allow the hyena to get your goat, right? So it's saying instead of taking the hyena seriously or allowing them to trigger you, then use it for your own laughter and pleasure. Like turn it back on them or just disconnect from them and find pleasure in your own way. You don't need to allow other people to trigger you. Right? It's always your control. It's always your responsibility to either allow or not allow pain to come into your energy. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door on the clock right now. It's 1:01, 23 to 24 on this clock. So 2 magicians and the King and Queen of Wands. So heart of the pentagon, joy, playfulness, and pleasure. I feel like this is a double-edged sword. I'm not feeling like joyful from this card. It's like a false sense of playfulness, which is why the hyena is coming up. You need to know who you can trust. Like, why would you let someone into your sphere who gives you a false sense of pleasure? That's what I'm getting. Don't allow someone in your sphere who's really funny but uses you as the butt of the joke. That's the energy I'm getting. It's one thing to have joy and fun where everyone can enjoy it and not allowing someone to be at the expense of the joke. Or just you deciding to not take them seriously. And if they don't feel good because they're actually plugging you on purpose to get a rise out of you, well, that's someone who doesn't need to be in your life. Unless they want to stop doing that. All right, let's see what the journey of love has to say. For the twin flames, you guys, take a deep breath. It's okay. Keep it simple. There's the number 4 of the Emperor and the black and white of it. It's simple. It's love or fear. This is what they're saying. When you get confused, don't make decisions. Perhaps take a nap, because just a nap is a reset. So just by taking a nap, you can wake up feeling completely different. But remember, when it comes down to it, it's just fear and love. You choose to be in fear or you choose to be in love. It's as simple as that. So keep it simple. Okay? And we're going to read that one for you too. And then these two want to be seen as well. The next two are 69, contemplation. And this is deep contemplation of 69, which is the Ace of Pentacles, which is an offer of a new life, of perfect contentment. So what is there to contemplate? Heart fire, right? The fire within your heart, the golden white light, that Christ unity consciousness energy amidst your heart, right? The passion that's in your human heart. Do you deny your own heart? Of course not. Dream a little. The 51 of the King of Swords. Allow yourself to dream. It's like sacrificing for everybody else and not following your own heart. It's saying, and specifically to the King of Swords here and the Emperor, allow yourself to dream. It's time for you to dream, not to sacrifice for everybody else's dream. The bottom of the deck is 54 again. That came up big yesterday, the 54 of the Page of Swords and the Earth Angel. I love the colors in this. It's very beautiful rainbow colors here. There's a little bit of turbulence in here, but nothing you can't handle. And we have a little bit of a faded moon there. Or is it the sun? It could be either in this card. There is a message for you to see, and it's different for everyone. What's the message you get from this card? To me, it's one of my favorite cards for the color and the beauty of it. Earth Angel. You are an Earth Angel. And beneath it is your towering magnificence of the 30 of the Union, the Four of Wands. This is who you are. Allow your colors to shine. Allow your little light to shine. The Page of Swords is that little light of mine. Allow that light to shine. And let's go ahead and read Simplicity, number 4. Keep it simple right now. Bow to that which is simple. You will find the answers to your most complex issues and those questions that seem to defy possibility of an answer. You will find the solution now through simplicity. Live one day at a time. Have gratitude for whatever you possibly can, even if you are yet to understand why you should be grateful, because you cannot perceive the gift hiding within your struggles quite yet. Trust in the goodness in life, seeking to serve you into becoming the fullness of all that you are. Yes, beloved, even in your darkest night, the light of love is serving you. The most sophisticated of problems can be resolved through a simple answer. Love, trust, have faith, be patient. Wait and you shall see. Let simplicity be. This oracle brings you an answer. Everything is going to be all right. Don't add fuel to the fire and look for ways to sort out complicated matters prematurely. And that's like the timelines we were talking about a little earlier. Don't create timelines that don't need to exist. Sometimes ingredients need to cook and percolate so that they can become a meal. The circumstances with which you are struggling will right themselves in time. Stay present and be patient. Pray in your own way, meditation, time in nature, dance, and literally talk to the divine. When you need to take a clear, simple action, you will feel it. Relax. Take a deep breath. And know it is all going to work out for the best. And it simply states, there is peace for one whose heart is open. Okay, so I think that says it all. There's a lot of anxiety coming up because people are in transition and they don't know which way they're going. So a lot of fear and anxiety comes up. So remember, it's all good. It's okay. Love that feeling. Don't worry. Everything is good. Remember to stay here and today, not tomorrow or yesterday. Stay here today. And remember, ultimately, it always comes back to fear or love. So when you're uncomfortable inside your skin, go back to the simple things. Remember the simple, the foundations of your learning. That what it comes down to is always between fear and love. Okay. Make sure you drink your water to make you feel good and connect well. Make sure you get enough rest so that it can help your, get your downloads and upgrades done, as well as, right, Sleeping Beauty. It's your beauty rest, makes you feel good and be more beautiful from the inside out. Make sure you get your joy, some laughter, but not being the butt of the joke. And even if you are being the butt of the joke, maybe you can laugh at that and sing it in a new way. And of course, nature. Let things happen naturally and spend time in nature. That nature knows how, always knows how to bring things back in balance. It's not up to you to have to do that. And rise and be love. Have an amazing day, you guys. I'll see you soon. Remember to take a deep breath and be love. Bye. Have a great day.